we're ready. Thank you so very much. We have just come out of closed session and we are moving on to item 7.6, which is the GIS dashboards. It's on page 117 of our agenda package. Do you want to move this?
Yeah, Madam Chair, could we move to another item that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we can. We will table this one until after lunch. And Counselor Hall, are you okay with making the tabling motion? All those in favor? Are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you. And we will now go to 7.7 grant funding applications, which is on page 132 of your agenda package. And I believe that was Mr. Deputy Reed Minns who wanted to discuss.
Yeah, before we move a recommended motion, just to discuss with the administration, do we want to anything to look for topping up on the Island Lake Regional Water Extension Project? Do we want to not ask for that yet, or?
Well, in research with our grant administrator, we asked, are we only allowed to ask once? And they said, no.
Oh,
We can ask twice. They didn't actually say, they said there's no guarantee either way, even if you ask once. So, however, the deadline to hear if we were successful on an increase for 26 is November 30th.
Yeah, it's a
So
little tight.
I guess we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. We probably should ask for the increase and based on our best estimates. And then if it's still something happens during the design process, we apply again for, so there's no right answer, but not applying is not a great answer. So we do want to apply.
Okay, I'll move the recommended motion.
Fine, thank you. Is there any further discussion on this item? All right. Okay, Deputy Reed Minns would like to direct administration to apply for Alberta Municipal Water Wastewater Partnership funding for the following two projects by November 30th, 2025, the Grassland Potable Water Reservoir upgrades and the Rochester Lift Station upgrades. And to direct administration to apply for an increase to the Island Lake Regional Water Extension Construction Project Water for Life Grant number 706-989. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor? And are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you. We are on 7.9 of your agenda policy 6115 mobile devices, page 185 of your agenda package. We'll get there. Sorry, there we go. Alrighty, so this is a recommendation here that council adopt the revised policy 6115 mobile devices as presented. Did administration want to weigh in at all on the report? Nope, we're good to go. I think I just have one question on this one. There was a bit of confusion with regards to the definition of term. Is that something that we want to add to the policy? Or we're clear that the term is the 4-year term for counselors? Everybody's clear on that? Please go ahead.
It's very clear.
You feel it's clear? Okay, we're all good. All right, so we would like to move the motion. Counselor Chizen would like to move that council adopt revised policy 6115 mobile devices as presented. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you. And we have 10 minutes to do the financial variance. Well, not 10 minutes, but 10 minutes before noon there to give everybody fair time for lunch. But it is item 7.11 and on the page 203 of your agenda package, which is the financial variance report. And we have Director Dowling here. There we go. Did you want to go ahead or please go ahead?
So Madam Chair, we have the variance report for 10 months ending October 31st. Similar to the September variance report, we did a summary of the overall departments, some explanations on what we thought was some significant differences. Then you have a summary capital variance, and then we just did an investment summary. I will just say in terms of our forecast, I mean, our forecast is a moving target. So even though we are forecasting, we're just trying our best efforts. I mean, things could change, so our forecast could change. But this is based on the feedback we got from our managers, directors. So, and plus the forecast here does not include capital.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Does anybody like to begin on the finance variance report? Any questions, comments? You know you're doing a great job, Win. Counselor Hall.
So do you have an expectation that there's a whole load of, like, this is October 31, so it's a month. I mean, that's pretty good because we're still in November, so we can't have November 30th yet. Is there $18 million worth of payables out there somewhere, or invoices that haven't been submitted but have been spent? Like, at this point in the year, that seems like a pretty high number.
Through the chair, Councillor All. Yes, I will say I am a little worried that maybe some people might be forecasting their budgets and we're getting shorter time, like they might not spend it, but we did double check. My budget officer, myself, we went back to our managers and asked, do you really expect to spend this? I guess it's like the information we're provided. I mean, sometimes, yeah, if I took a critical hard look and really question them, maybe they say, well, maybe not. But for counting terms, we have to have this, if we're ordering goods and stuff, I mean, we have to follow the county standards, and this good's got to be on site by 31st. So, but I mean, we take the variance at what information received, and that's what we provide. I mean, there could be some changes, so maybe in the end of November, some things might change, but I'm hoping that what we get, I mean, it's not going to be too many changes, but there may be, other than capital, which I said is not included in this. I mean, we have the capital summary here, but and there is some projects in that we're going to be suggesting go move forward to 2026. But yeah, I mean, basically the information we have to date is what we provided.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Counselor Hall, is there any?
That's it for me. Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks, Director.
appreciate it. I guess just a quick question, anything that in the forecast that's mentioned that it's being deferred maybe to another year or something like that, would those funds that are currently allotted to that item, would it then go into a reserve situation, or is that something that would have to come back to council, or how would that work?
Specifically for operations, there is no, we don't carry forward operations is 1 year only. So the only way that it will be allocated, we basically at the end of the year, we have a surplus. I mean, it's up to council then to decide whether or not we're to place the surplus funds in specific reserves. As you're aware, like then in the 2026 budget, we would have to come back with the request for that item if it got deferred. So that's why when you've seen the operations budget, the first or second look at the operations 2026, there were some items that we included back in the budget because I'll give you an example, like in amended digitalization was referred to 2027. We still would have to bring that back. Capital items is a little bit different. Capital items, we can, they can carry forward, but we still need to bring them to council, say that we request them to carry forward.
Okay, awesome,
you.
thank you. Counselor Hall?
Is there a point, and I don't know if this is for the director or the CIO, where it would make sense actually to revise the budget based on new information that we have related to either expenditures that are going out or reallocation of funds for specific purposes or revenues that, you know, where we look back and have an expectation that a revenue may change, revenue stream may change? Like, should we be amending any of this?
Oh, Madam Chair, if we go back and look at the minutes, there have been times through the year where we've asked for that budget to be changed, where a budget came in, a tender came in over, and we've asked council, can you approve some extra from reserve or somewhere else? So there's probably been 3 or 4 amendments this year to the budget as we went along. If you're talking about at year end, well, I mean, year end, it's too late, but we would probably ask council to make motions about how the surplus is to be dealt with. But that'll be dealt with at year end, but it wouldn't really, there's no point in amending a budget from the previous year. It's just
Just, and I was thinking more if, bad debt came to light or
Yep.
contamination or
I
some
think we've
other,
been-
some other item that would affect our income revenue.
Yep, as things come up, we've kind of been asking council to amend the budget, so. Yeah, especially when we need funds. So that's really, we can't spend money we haven't been allocated, so I know we've done that.
Awesome. Thank you. Please go ahead, Director Daly.
Yeah, just to add to CO Bex, like generally, if we get a big surprise and like say, for example, we're gonna get a big expenditure that's gonna show a deficit or whatever. We may not necessarily do a transfer right away or adjust the budget, but I mean, then our financials would end up at the year end, we'd see a deficit rather say than a surplus. So then technically, instead of transferring money out to specific reserves, we may have to say we have to transfer into the budget. We don't technically transfer as such in because the financials and everything is already completed, but we'd end up with a small surplus. I mean, you cannot budget a surplus, but in some instances you can't. The end result could be a deficit or a deficit. You can't budget for a deficit, but you might end up the year with a deficit if operations or unexpected expenditures. But generally, in regards to Councillor Rawls' question, sometimes throughout the year, there could be adjustments based on expenditures or overages in specific contracts that we unexpect. So we could ask for a budget adjustment, you could do a transfer, or we could wait in some cases, we could just wait at the end of the year and see, because there could be other areas where there's surpluses and we just cover it off, because the bottom line, we're looking at the bottom line. So we don't do like transfers between departments or anything to cover off.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thank
Councillor
you.
Hall.
I'm just following up on the comment and relating back to the CAO's comment. And maybe, admin will correct me if I'm off track, but my view of budget is similar to what the CAO said. You can't spend what you haven't been allocated. If you're coming in with a deficit and council hasn't approved it, but someone spent it, for me, someone should lose their job. You can't spend money that you haven't been given. And if your fuel bill doubles and there's a projection along the way or some other thing, admin needs to be back in front of us saying, we have a problem, here's how we're going to solve it. It's not just runaway freight train spending and deal with it at year end, out of reserves. Reserves are not the safety margin for surprises.
Thank you. Please go ahead, Director Daly.
No, you're correct. I didn't mean that we're going to show a surplus. And that's why I guess that's the purpose of forecasts. So say throughout the year, we're doing forecasts, or like in the last 3 or 4 months, if we're expecting, or we see a forecast that's forecasting deficit, that's where we would probably come to council and say, okay, it looks like we went over in a certain area. Then we would request council, like, can we spend the additional? And that's where you end up with, you could end up, no, like, I'm not sorry if I inferred that administration is going to spend and not let council know and end up with a deficit. No, we would, hopefully the forecast would tell us this if we're ending up with surplus or deficit. If it looks like there's a deficit, that's when we would probably bring an RFD saying, it looks like in a specific area, we're going to go over. And then that's where we talk about that. Sorry. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Deputy Reed Mins.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. That's what I want to say. It's, at least we're on the right side of we're not in the red, we're in the black.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
No. Yeah. But I also want to add to that. Thank you for the diligence that's going into keeping an eye on all of the finances as we're going through the year and providing these forecasts, and administration across the board is working extremely hard at keeping us informed. And do we have a new question? Okay, I won't end my conversation yet. Go ahead.
All of a sudden I found it.
Oh.
The very last end of the report, page 216, on the graph, all of a sudden the operating account jumps really high. And is there a reason for that? Could be.
But taxes are due in July. I don't want to steal their thunder, but
Yeah.
that's what
This year,
cash.
October.
Which
No,
would-
but we extended. So it looks like everybody went out and paid their taxes anyway because we extended it, or what?
Yes.
Through the Madam Chair, through Deputy Reed Mins. Yes, this year there was an extension on taxes. So you will see, typically during the first 6, 7 months of the year, you will see our operating kind of deplete. Then when our tax notices goes out, people start paying. A lot of people don't pay till the end, but when we start getting like the tip and then the bank sends their payments, you would see in the last, like, when taxes are due, shortly after that, you will see like a spike. And then it's gradual going down again. So that's our taxes. This year, I do believe, if memory serves me right, that we did extend our tax deadline, for 1 month. So then I think it would used to be, August 1st, I guess, and then July. So this year, I think it was August the 31st instead of, July 31st.
Yeah, October, yeah. Yeah, I believe it was October.
No, that's good. I like the graph. I do. I just wanted it explained a little bit better, and thank you very much.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Is anybody else? We're all good? Cause I see everybody's tummies. I can hear some grumbling going on here. So we will be breaking for lunch, but once again, thank you. I really appreciate you working with all the departments and all the departments coming forward with the information that you've brought forward to us here today and the diligence going into looking for those cost savings and explaining it and all of those things. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think we have a recommended motion here to receive the October 31st, 2025 summary operating and capital financial variance report and investment summary as information. Deputy Reeve Mins has put his hand up to own that motion, and if we're ready for, if we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? And are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you very much. And I believe it is now time to break for lunch. If we could return to the table at 12:30, that would be great. All right. We are back in session. I believe we are at 7.12, the Alberta Hub Skyways project. The recommendation here is to provide a letter of support to Alberta Hub agreeing to partner with St. Paul County to apply for an Alberta Community.
As a point of
Partner-
order, I think we're at 7.6.
Thank you. I've forgotten about the tabling. Appreciate that. I'm gonna make that a little more prevalent next time so I see it. Thank you for that. 7.6, so this is where we're at. This is the GIS dashboards. It's on page 117 of your agenda package, and we're here for a presentation from administration. Would you like to go ahead, please, and thank you.
Thank you, Council. Reeve Holland. So we just thought that we haven't discussed with Council some of the new initiatives that we've been working on with GIS, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to share with you some of the things that we're doing to try and use data tracking for our decision-making processes. I'd like to introduce Maureen. She is our GIS technician. And so we've asked her to put a bit of an overview together and kind of give Council, a brief insight into some of the things that we've undertaken in 2025.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. Welcome, Maureen.
Right, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here, presenting a little bit of information on GIS and all the fun stuff that we did in 2025 here. Okay, so some of you might be wondering what GIS is. So basically it's a system that creates, manages, analyzes, and maps all types of data. Thank you. Basically in-house, we have 4 or 5 different GIS systems that we use. Catalyst, which you guys all see, it's an external. There's also an internal portal for our planning and development, and all taxation officer all use it, planning and development, infrastructure, we all use it. MRF is mapping resources and facilities. They GPS track all of our county vehicles in real time, so we can see how fast they are going, where they're going, and how long they've been sitting in the same spot. So if there's an issue, we can send someone to the rescue type thing. And with MRF, actually, I forgot to put on here is the CPOs, they use it as well. It ties into their ticketing and tracking systems as well, so. And then I use QGIS and Esri products in the background for any analysis that Director Morton wishes to know. And a couple other examples of GIS that you guys maybe use daily are like Google Maps, the Alberta 511 road report, and the provincial wildfire app. So you guys are probably already using GIS, but maybe don't even realize it. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about what GIS does and how we're using it here, 2 main types that we use here for spatial analysis and visualization. So a spatial analysis, an example is Fire Chief Chalopé had his summer seasonal go out and GPS water locations for fighting fire, and they looked like we had a good coverage over the county. But once I did a drive time analysis for 5 and 10 minutes, that showed quite a few gaps. So next year we'll have to go and review and focus on those gaps to sort of reduce cycle time for fire and water. And then dashboards, digital maps and dashboards, obviously it's just a simple way to make data come alive, give you a really clear summary of data in one simple glance, so. Oops. Okay, oh, and then I think I'll just move to the example.
No.
So this is an example of exactly what the guys are using in the truck. for collecting dust control information. So it's really simple. They're using cell-enabled iPads in the trucks. I think we have two for what I use them for dust control and gravel collection. And then recreation has one as well, or sorry, between the two of us, we have two. Sorry, I'm confused. So various metrics are collected based on what Director Morton wanted to see in his dashboards. So basically, who did it, what ratepayer, or if it's Athabasca County's paying for it, or if it's invoice dust control, the number of cubic liters that are collected, was gravel applied, yes or no? And then it's, if you say yes, then you have to answer how much gravel was used and from what pit. And then obviously you can map it out. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that here or not. Yeah, no locations here, but, and then division number for easy for metrics, I'll show in the dashboard in a bit. Length is calculated automatically as soon as you draw the line. And then we also have to keep track of how much water we take from our water sources, so all that's mapped as well. So how much liters of water, and then from which source, and then you just hit the submit button, and it automatically updates the dust control dashboard, which I'll show here in a second. So all of these boxes show a little different metric, I guess. They're called widgets, and if your eyes are anything like mine, sometimes it's hard to see, so you can pop out, and this metric just shows how many applicants by division are applying for dust control. So Division 1 looks like it doesn't have very many, but there's also a lot of stuff that's invoiced there. Different oil and gas companies are hauling, so they pay out. What else to say? For the map, you can zoom in, zoom out. If you want to see the aerial imagery in the background, you can do that as well. I can change that up so it's a little easier to see where you are for reference. And then, because Madam Chair, you probably want to be interested in what exactly is happening in Division 5. So you can click here and go to Division 5. The map zooms in sort of to that district, and all the metrics will change based on whatever division that you want to look at. And then to reset, you just hit the reset button and it'll take you back out, reset.
Sprayed 2.2. We sprayed 2.2 million liters
Correct.
last year. Nice.
So one of the things that if the cell service was better here, that would be live for us as the checker or the person putting in the information as the dust control is done. When we get all the applications, we create a layer showing what dust control we're going to do this year. And as it's done, we overlap that with a different color so that we can see where we're at in the program. Now that would be live if we always had cell service. Unfortunately, the cell service is fairly spotty, so sometimes it doesn't update until we get back to the office at night. But it's every day I get to see, or anybody in the office gets to see what was completed during the day and kind of semi-live, see how we're progressing.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that yes, it could be live, but it's just due to the lack of cell service, or if we wanted to go to Wi-Fi in all the trucks, and we could get instantaneous results, but. And then the gravel dashboard is the same sort of thing, same sort of metrics. I didn't realize that tons per mile was an actual metric, but Director Morton assures me it is. So again, tired eyes, you can see where we're hauling from. Long Lake Pit, 3/4 inch is the heaviest hit this year. And then again, too, if you select Division 4, all the metrics will change, and Moose Hill Pit is Moose Hill and Berg, the same pit.
So could I go out and say that we got below average gravel now in Division 4?
No. It just says that a lot of the gravel had to come from Long Lake is
Yeah.
what it means, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
but yeah, so same thing here, you can pop out, zoom in with the map, change base maps if you want. Et cetera, et cetera. And then the next one was, the GPS sign collection. I had a seasonal this summer and she went around and collected, a little slow to drop, GPS, the 4,100 signs in the county, or she took 4,100 GPS points, sorry, not all were signs. She noted several spots where signs may be missing. Obviously, she wasn't a subject matter expert on where signs are, so Public Works will have to determine if in fact we do need signs there or not, but. So if I zoom in. So these blue triangle spots are where she noted that the sign wasn't in perfect condition, so if I click on it, it'll pop up with information. And then the picture, this one's kind of got some, I don't know, paint chips on it, I guess, so maybe she decided that that should be maybe replaced, but. And then on any other sign as well, we've got pictures. What type of sign? That one's in pretty good shape. And then if I show here. Oh. Signs missing. All the yellow dots are where she felt that there was signs missing, so obviously it looks like there's a lot. But a lot of them are dead ends down field access routes, so maybe you don't need a dead end sign there, but again, she wasn't a SME in signs, so it's up to the Public Works Department to determine whether in fact that they will need, but it's a good start, I guess, to like this corner, it looks like there's no. She thought maybe there should be a checkerboard here because it's a sharp corner and there's currently not, so maybe there should be, but. So I've sent this to, our Public Works now has an app for if they go out and install a sign. They can GPS the point, take a picture, so at least then, so when I'm updating, I don't have to sort of try and guesstimate where the sign is actually supposed to go. So I can update our Catalyst system with that information, with an updated picture. And all that good stuff, so.
We did have a master sign book over at Public Works there. I don't know if it's still there or not. Can it be transposed onto here to see if it's reasonably close or?
There's a book that, that is old school, where you can't download it in. You still have to GPS the points to have it here. From
Oh.
digital, but you can definitely compare the two.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because we used to, like yearly, we'd go around and physically look at every sign with that book, eh?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so going forward, any rural address signs that we put up or new signs or replacement signs, they'll GPS with the app. It looks very similar to what the sign collection app will look like, so very easy to use. They just used it the other day and he was pretty pumped about it because he didn't have to come in and plug in his phone to my computer so he can download the pictures for me, so it was kind of a bonus. So gravel stockpile, Director Morton talked about this.
I can speak. Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the questions I had, or requests I had for Maureen was, here's the stockpile sites or gravel pits that we currently have. What's the haul radius? If I wanted to reduce it to a 15 or 10 or 20-mile haul from each location, what would it look like? What this one indicates, it shows the dark circle, I believe, is 10 miles, and the outer ring is 15. Obviously on the the Tower Pit on the north side of the river, Ideally, you wouldn't haul back and forth across a restricted bridge if you didn't need to. That's why you're only seeing that blue piece there. Just the cost to haul smaller loads right now because the bridge is restricted. So we took this information and then created the next one where should we have locations additionally added that would reduce the haul distance. So one looks like grassland area would make a big difference, and one up by Island Lake, which is we've already spoke to you about. And now if you make that, I know Maureen doesn't have it on her screen at the moment, but if we make it 20 miles, oh, she does have it. We can pretty well cover the entire municipality. So anyway, it's just some things that, you know, we're using it to assist us with our planning and so on, is all we want to show you.
Okay, I noticed Division 5 was left out, yes.
Once the bridge is back up to normal, might be able to haul across there, but. And then I built just a simple dashboard too for the spray program for agriculture. Here it just shows where we've sprayed. This is all 2025 stuff. But I can also add all year stuff in, so it shows where year over year. Like I think this is the Tower Pit where we have to spray to reduce the weeds. So you can see they've sprayed it several times. Not sure if it got pop-ups or not. Yeah, so this one was done 2024. Oh, 2024 again. And 24, oh, it looked like it sprayed a couple times in 2024, but so just another way of helping ag manager determine where we sprayed. Maybe there's an issue or however he wants to use the data essentially, but it's here, easy to see for him. Yep.
I was just wondering, the tractors, the mowers, are they marked down there too, where they spray each year? Not yet, eh?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, no, not at this time.
Oh, okay,
But it's on our radar and we're looking into options for it, so.
perfect, thank you.
They are on MRF, so we know where they're going. We're just haven't got the tracking data for what's sprayed yet.
Yeah, because there's spray width of the booms, I guess, is a factor and. But yeah, it's on Ryan and my radar, so we're looking into it for sure, but. And I think that was all I had to show. If anybody had any other questions or.
Yeah, just before we get into the questions, just letting you know that we have the same thing for all the small mowers, like all the cemeteries, everything. We track that where we mow. You know, we know how many acres we're doing and stuff now. We have them all highlighted of where we're mowing. The other thing that Maureen is currently working on is the traffic counts. So we currently have 2025 in there and 2018 because we're trying to put the historical. So she'll start it at 18 and we'll work our way up to 2025. The historical traffic counts aren't as detailed as the stuff that we do in 2025, but there's still value to it. It doesn't separate truck traffic from cars, but it still gives you vehicle movements. So there's still some value to it. So we're going to have all that in there so that we can see the historical trends. But moving forward, the detailed traffic counts that we're undertaking now will provide better information. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to give you some insight to what we're working on. And yeah, Mo will be happy to answer any questions you might have, or myself.
This is awesome. This is really great to see, and I can imagine quite an enhancement to your toolkit. So that's pretty cool stuff. And thank you so much for all the work that you're putting into that. This is huge. And yeah, I really appreciate that. But I know you're biting at the bit there for the question for Deputy Reedmans.
First thing, culverts, are we looking at marking down culverts?
Yes, currently we do have a layer in our system for culverts, but again, it's out of date. And we do have a survey for approach inspection. So if there's a culvert that they've note when they're installing the approaches that I do mark that in our GIS, so it is tracked there with newer pictures and such, but I think Marshall,
So currently we are tracking and we have a layer for culverts, and any new ones that are installed are tracked. We just don't have great historical data. So at some point, in the near future, we'll do the same thing we did with the signs. Probably have a seasonal go out and pick up all the historical culverts locations. But yeah, we haven't started there yet. But I think made great progress in 2025, and we're just starting to, use it for. It is an extremely powerful tool that we're just scratching the surface on. So
I want to thank you very much for moving us ahead the way you have, because again, I used to work here and I used to listen to the discussions on GIS and how powerful it can be and how great it was, the whole system was going to be and all this stuff, and it worked. It worked a little bit, but there was never the information gathering that I see that is going on now. So great job. And watching this move forward is very exciting. So thank you.
Anybody else? Please go ahead, Councillor Hall.
I think it's great that we're actually, I heard the words using data to make decisions. It's a giant leap ahead and I'm glad for that. Can you have time to share with us a couple of things about how you might use data to both maybe monitor resource utilization? So do we compare fuel use over our greater fleet between items versus miles they drive and idle time and all of that? Like, are you able to use the information you gather to be more efficient in how we extend the life of this equipment? Because for that, and then collateral to that, can the operators on things like graders access the data to report both problems with roads or stuff in the ditch that needs attention, like trees down, signs missing, or even to mark off when they've done a snow plowing visit at the yard? Do those guys have access to this, even without cell coverage continuously?
the short answer is that some of that is available. Unfortunately, the technology isn't readily available. I guess it is. It just depends how much you want to spend. And we're not set up that way yet. But one of the things we used to do at another municipality where I worked was you would determine every week what you want to collect. So, or, say, okay, you push it twice for a down tree or you push the button, and it was just a hot button in the grader. But if you wanted to say, we're going to pick up culvert locations this week, everybody knew every time they went by a culvert, they would hit the hot button and it gives us a GPS point of where the culvert was. That kind of technology has been around for a while. We don't have those hot buttons in our graders at this time. And that was a different, but it's available. It's just how much do you want to spend and how far do you want to go? You can go right to the point where we can have tablets in the trucks and identify, how many tones they put on, which pit. It can all be tracked even in the trucks and the graders. It's fairly expensive. And I'm not sure if the value is there for that type of money when we can ask them to identify that stuff, be more diligent in saying, okay, today, like, we want everybody to report down trees or down signs, and we need to enforce that. And that becomes more of a management solution than spending all the money on the technology, because some of that technology is very expensive. But as far as using GPS information and GIS to track efficiencies, absolutely. That's one of the things that CAO Beck has kind of tasked me with, is trying to evaluate the overall efficiency of our greater beats and how they're laid out. And, you know, we kind of know that coming from town isn't efficient in a lot of cases. There's a lot of travel time, but greater sheds are expensive. So those things will be evaluated moving forward. So yeah, we can use this to help us sort some of that, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions, comments? I think, are we ready to go? I think so. All right. I wasn't sure.
So Maureen, you said you use Esri and we use Catalyst. Now, some places, because Esri does, like Catalyst is sort of more of an Alberta-based thing, and Esri does a lot of the same stuff, I think. Is there a reason we use both versus consolidating into one provider?
Catalyst is actually worldwide, I believe. They are very good at presenting data for non-technical people. So you can click on it and it'll pop up with the information that you need. But if you wanted to do analysis like how many residences are within 200 meters of Highway 2, it would be very difficult to do that in Catalyst because you'd have to measure and count each one individually. Where in Esri, I can do that in 5
And
minutes or
they
less.
integrate okay.
No. They, the Catalyst uses QGIS in the background, a Postgres, system. I can't really connect to it with the Esri stuff, so I have to go in and download monthly.
Oh.
So like the cadastral layer is updated monthly from Atlas to Catalyst, and then I'll download it if I need to print maps off. So that's kind of a little bit of a pain, but for any mapping, Catalyst, you can make a map, but it's pretty much just a screenshot. You can't do any fancy fun stuff, I guess I should say. It's just a lot easier to use.
I'll say from a user experience, I find, yeah, Catalyst far more user-friendly, but I was surprised because I know Esri is in the background and then for other places and that we actually deployed that as well. So.
Yeah, some municipalities just use Esri. They've built the whole system up themselves and done it that way, but you'd probably need at least one more GIS person to manage that for a county this size for sure. So, but yeah, Catalyst is a very good tool for what the planning and development people need in infrastructure, and it houses like a lot of our data very well. It's not good for doing a lot of analysis with, so.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, anybody else bring anything forward? I think we're good to go. Once again, thank you very much. This is great. And it's really neat to see that. And it's also really great for our public to see that. So I really appreciate you bringing it forward. That's fantastic and well done. Well done. Thank you. So the motion I think we have for this is to receive the presentation as information. Councillor Chamzik would like to go ahead and receive the presentation as information. All those in favor? I see no opposed, and that will be 6-0. Thank you very much. And now we can move to 7.12. I apologize for that. 7.12, which is on page 217 of our agenda package. This is the Alberta Hub Skyways project. The recommendation here is to provide a letter of support to Alberta Hub, agreeing to partner with St. Paul County to apply for an Alberta Community Partnership grant to deliver the outcomes of the Alberta Hub Skyways project. More than anything, I think it's really interesting to know, or people are unaware of what the Alberta Hub Skyways project is. In our discussion on the report, just briefly, it's a project that is laying the groundwork to develop a drone-friendly ecosystem to enable advanced air mobility activities such as beyond visual line of sight, drone operations for drone-based delivery of goods, precision agriculture using drones, and support infrastructure development for electric aviation. So it's really neat advancement that's going through, and I'm hoping maybe you know, I'm pretty sure our airport can also operate in such a way. So something maybe the council would be considering in the future for discussion. Does anybody have, please go ahead, Counselor Chan.
I agree with you. I only know of one place within the county that is actually a drone authorized dealer, and the discussions when I went to a presentation was the out of sight flying and so on and so forth. Be awesome to see within our boundaries as well.
Right? Yeah, I think this is, again, future forward thinking and the technology as it continues to advance, we gotta try and keep up with it as well. Is there any conversation or comments on this one? Recommended motion? Counselor Chisholm? As recommended, once again, that's to provide a letter of support to Alberta Hub agreeing to partner with St. Paul County to apply for an Alberta Community Partnership Grant to deliver the outcome of the Alberta Hub Skyways project. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? 6-0, thank you very much.
Just, do we know why that was on the agenda then? Like, presumably somebody put it on to make,
It was just, like I said, just to discuss it and highlight it for, not only for our public, but just for future food for thought. Item 7.13 is the local and composite assessment review board decisions on page 220 to 248, pardon me, of your agenda. And I believe Councillor Hall, you had requested for this one.
I put it on again just to ask administration if there's any decisions that they're aware of that would warrant appeal from their ability to influence future decisions and the other decisions in the future.
Madam Chair, I can't comment on that. Since I'm not the decision maker, the board, I don't know how it would affect future decisions.
Thank you. Is there any further comment or discussion? Oh, your microphone.
Sorry, I touched it. I'd move the same motion as last time to direct admin to consult with the county assessor to determine if any of the decisions warrant an appeal. And the reason for doing that is it's not out of the realm of possibility that assessment review boards make mistakes. We've seen that in the past, and it hurts us nothing to ask if any of these things create a problem that we need to deal with. I don't have any that I can identify, but that's not my area of expertise, and I just think it's useful to ask. Are all these sound logical decisions? We've had not everyone at the table will be aware in the last 5 years, the county did take some to the Court of Queens and King's Bench to have appealed because they were legally flawed, and they have an impact on the tax base. So I think it's a good decision to just ask the assessor that question.
And if I may, if you could please repeat your motion slowly so that we can all get it down.
It's identical to the last one.
Pardon me?
Um,
Did you get it? Would you mind?
It's identical to the one last time.
Would you mind going ahead, please, Ms. Blair, to read that back?
Moved by Counselor Hall to direct administration to consult with the county assessor to determine if any of these decisions warrant an appeal.
Thank you. Is there any comment on this? Any discussion? Go ahead, please, Deputy Reed Mins.
Does administration like administration talks to our assessors all the time, right? And that like, do you think the assessors would reach out to you and say, this should be looked at, or this doesn't look right, or?
I suspect they would.
Yeah, like, especially being a new assessor, that, they'd wanna, to me, they'd wanna actually give a good reason why this was changed or something like that. Or
And Madam Chair, I did spend some time with our assessor at the convention. He was there for a different reason. And he raised no concerns about needing to appeal anything. But I didn't ask him about these 3 specific appeals. So if that's the motion that council wants me to pursue, then I can ask him about these 3 specific appeals.
Thank you. And I'll just comment as well. I mean, we appoint these members to the Assessment Review Board, and I have faith that they are doing a great job. So I will be not in support of this particular motion. Are we ready for the vote?
Yeah,
Or
we'll make
for-
it recorded.
Okay, we would like a recorded vote on this. So I will ask that everyone hold their hand a little higher so that I'm able to take the names down properly. And if we're ready for the vote, and I'm assuming everybody is comfortable with the motion that was read, or would you like it read again?
I'd like it read again.
Okay, thank you. Please, Ms. Blair, if you don't mind.
Moved by Counselor Hall to direct administration to consult with the county assessor to determine if any of these decisions warrant an appeal.
Okay. Are you ready for the vote, or do you have any questions? Okay, we're ready for the vote. All those in favor? We have Counselor Hall. Are there any opposed? We have Counselor Dowlick, Counselor Chisholm, Counselor Chamzik, Reeve Holland, and Deputy Reeve Mins. The motion fails. Do we have a motion that council receives the report for information? Counselor Dowlick? To go ahead and receive this report for information. If we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? We have 5, and are there any opposed? 1, 6, 1. Thank you. All right, and we are moving on to item 7.16, which is page 253 of your agenda package. This was our earlier presentation from the Athabasca Landing Trail Steering Committee. And I believe the recommendation here is that council provide administration with direction. I would like to propose that we postpone this particular item until after the Athabasca Landing Trail Steering Committee meeting on the 5th, as well as further consultation with landowners. And if there's any, does anybody have any further?
Makes sense.
Okay, if we're ready for the vote, all those in favor? Oh, go ahead. Sure, to postpone this item until after the Athabasca Landing Trail Steering Committee meeting on December 5th, and that there has been further consultation with the landowners. And that would be done through Alberta TrailNet and the steering committee, that consultation. Okay. If everybody's ready to go for the vote, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? Thank you, 6 and 0. We are moving to 8.1A, which is a community events calendar, and that is on page 256 of your agenda package. And I believe I'll start with one quick one on the 29th, which is coming up here in November. Amber Valley is hosting a garage rummage sale from 10 to 4. I believe it's $10 a table, if I'm not mistaken. And they're also offering chili and a bun for $5. So there is that one to add. Is there anybody else? Go ahead, please, Councillor Chamsik.
On December 4th is the Grassland Christmas concert. And then on the 12th is a Prosvita Christmas dinner and dance.
Prosvita. Christmas dinner and dance. Okay, anybody else? Go ahead, please, Deputy.
December 18th, and I know we're gonna discuss this later on also, All Saints Anglican Church in Athabasca has a lessons and carols presentation at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you. 7 p.m. Anybody else? Councillor Chamsik, would you like to receive the calendars as discussed?
I sure do.
Thank you very much. We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? Thank you. Are there any opposed? 6 and 0. Thank you. We are going to 8.2 meeting calendars on page 261 of your package. I have a few here to mention, so we'll, if that's okay, we can start on those. Just for people's information, the November 27th, which is today, the Regional Collaboration Committee is going to be rescheduled with a date to be determined. I understand that the multiplex has moved to December 2nd at 9:30 a.m. On December 4th, and I was probably somewhere else, but we've all been invited to the Athabasca Community Christmas Supper. That's at 4 p.m. No, again, on the fourth, the community transportation, there will be a meeting there at 2 p.m. And on the fifth, are we still scheduling for the bridge announcement? So far, so good, okay. And there's also an Athabasca Landing Trail steering committee at 9:30 a.m. In Edmonton or via Zoom.
Madam Chair, just on the fifth, the bridge announcement, the minister will be here. It'll be at the county office.
Oh, okay,
So they've confirmed and we've invited LPAC and the MLA, I believe. So there'll be an announcement in the foyer of.
oh, fantastic, okay.
No, well, you can if you want, but there won't be anybody there. That's-
And it's still at 10:30, correct, on the calendar?
Yeah, the press will be here.
And 10:30. There we go. Awesome, thank you. I believe the FCSS meeting has been canceled on December 8th, and the next one will be on the 12th of January for FCSS. And I just registered for the watershed and WPACS's 101 webinar for the 10th. The Alice B. Donahue Library is December 11th. They have, for Miss Blair's knowledge, they're every second Thursday of the month for them, for Alice B. Donahue.
I had discussions with them after sending out the committee appointments, and they noted that they were not having a December meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, perfect. Then on the 16th, we are going to replace the committee of the whole meeting with the special meeting. And we will be adding a special meeting on the 18th. And as well on the 18th that evening, as you mentioned, the lessons and carols for the All Saints Anglican Church. I've been invited to be a reader there at 7 p.m. And January, again, I guess it would be the second Thursday there for the, on the 8th of January for the Athabasca Library Alice B. Donahue board meeting. And that's what I have. And Counselor Chamzik.
ASB December 17th. And then in January, if I am correct, the ASB conference will be from the 20th to the 22nd, which, you know, is unfortunately a busy week for us. And then on the 28th is the IMC meeting for Boyle.
28th. And the time for the ASB on the 17th of December?
9:30.
9:30, we'll go with that. Okay. ASB conference and the IMC meeting is in Boyle or here?
Here.
Here. Chambers, and that's at 9:30?
Correct.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Madam Chair, we polled our intermunicipal partners, the town and village, about a potential planning 101 course for elected officials. And if there was a date that might work for them in January, and they picked January 15th, is that correct? So it'd be during the day. We haven't picked a venue yet, I don't believe, but does it seem like it would work for council? And if so, then we would confirm with everyone that it could work. It's not mandatory training, but it's really good. I mean, council is, most of council is back on the municipal planning commission. It might be helpful to learn more about the act again.
Okay, so that's the third Thursday, January 15th. I'm available. How's everybody else looking?
Yeah.
Good. Counselor Hall?
Is this an EOEP course or something that's being?
It is
done
not,
with
it
us?
is in addition to what you might learn at EOEP, it's a bit more in depth. It'd be all day just on planning, just on the MGA and how it applies to planning and what we do.
Nice.
Yeah, Madam Chair, it'll be 9. We don't know where the location is. Before we did any of that, we would confirm whether or not council was okay with that date.
Okay. Thank you. So far, so good. Okay. It looks like everything's good on, for the 6 of us. We're missing 3, but we can sort that out here shortly, I hope. Do you have anything else, Deputy Reedmans?
Not
You're
right.
good, you're good, Counselor Hall.
Move to receive the calendars as amended.
as discussed. All right. Is everybody good to go for the vote? I believe so. So Counselor Hall would like to receive the calendars as discussed. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? We're good to go, 6-0. We have item 9.1 that was added here today. I just have to find that one. Bear with me. It is a letter, and I will turn this over to CAO Beck. This is a letter for the Divided Highway Speed Limit Survey,
Oh,
Transportation and Economic Corridor.
Madam Chair, you added it. I thought you would lead it. It was sent out to me, but they're consulting on whether or not what everyone's feelings are on adjusting the speeds on 63 in our community.
Thank you for that. I believe they're asking for, there is a survey that is for public opinion that can be added, but I believe they're asking as well for municipal input on this. I might not be popular here in my personal opinion on raising the speeds. I do have, and I'll just start the conversation, safety concerns for increasing the speeds, economic and environmental impacts, as well as infrastructure and resource strain. So I'll just run in through a few of the bullets that I have for concerns on, for safety and concerns for increasing those speeds from, what is it, 110, I think it is, to 120. Higher speeds directly correlate, of course, with severe crash outcomes because more kinetic energy is involved, as we know. So studies suggest that a small increase in speed limits can lead to significant increases in fatal collisions. And there is an estimated 36% rise, according to one expert on that. Longer stopping distances, faster speeds require greater distance for a vehicle to stop, reducing driver reaction time and increasing the likelihood of a collision. There's the speed differential. The difference in speed between passenger vehicles and slower moving transport trucks or RVs could increase, making lane changes and merging maneuvers more hazardous. The driver behavior, there's concern that if the limit is raised to 120, drivers will feel emboldened to drive even faster, the 140 to 150, creating a moving target for speed enforcement, and the 85th percentile speed used in road design. Road conditions, again, higher limits are less appropriate for non-ideal conditions such as winter ice and black ice, wildlife activity, which we all know was reported here, I believe it was last year, was over 300 wildlife strikes alone in their north. Also, heavy traffic density is a concern with the higher limits, which is common in Alberta. Well, I'll move to the economic and environmental impacts. There's higher insurance premiums could be a concern as we see an increase in crash severity and frequency. That also would lead to higher injury payouts and more total vehicle losses for insurers, which would likely result in higher auto insurance premiums for Albertans, where we all know we already pay a high rate compared to the rest of the country. And then we look into the increased fuel consumption, where most vehicles are most fuel efficient when traveling between 50 and 80. At 120, a vehicle can use about 20% more fuel than at 100 kilometers per hour. And then that leads to higher emissions. So increased fuel consumption directly translates to a rise in greenhouse gas emissions, which goes against our climate crisis efforts. And my very last few points are the infrastructure and resources strain, which is very near and dear to my heart, strain on emergency services, especially in Highway 63 is a perfect example, being so remote. But the Calgary Firefighters Association has raised concerns that increased speeding puts an unnecessary strain on emergency resources. And we all know our resources are mainly volunteer based in our area, and Highway 63 is one of those that concerns me the most. And then we have lessons from BC. The British Columbia raised their speed limits on some highways in 2014, only to roll them back, many of the changes after a significant increase in serious and fatal crashes. So I don't know if you guessed, but I'm kind of against this. But go ahead, please, Councillor Chamzek.
Well, you're not the only one. I personally am strongly opposed. I'm not going to say it as eloquently as you just did. There is all those concerns, especially when it comes to safety, our first responders, the effects on our fire departments, but also even with companies that have already had pre-governed vehicles and disruption of the flow of traffics lead to exactly what you said, 90% of those safety issues as well.
Thank you. Councillor Dowlick?
Well, yeah, same here. I agree, you know, if there wasn't for the sensitive loads on Highway 63, I'd probably go with the 120, but you know, you got the fuel, you got the chemicals and a lot of heavy traffic. I really don't think it would be wise. I'd oppose that.
Okay. Anybody else?
I
Please go
do
ahead.
want to say I did take the survey and I did find value in making sure that you do it. So if possible, please do.
Thank you. Anyone else? So is there an appetite here? It says here in the letter, as a valued stakeholder, I ask you to consider the proposal outlined in this letter and provide your feedback no later than December 12th. There's of course the online survey is there. Or we're also mentioned to provide a direct response by email. Is there comfort in the room to ask administration to provide our feedback via email before December 12th? Please go ahead.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, thank you. So we would like to put a motion forward to direct administration to provide feedback as discussed today via email to the, where are we at here? To Paul Smith, the deputy minister, as requested in their November 19th letter.
Should we also include our two MLAs with that as well?
CCing to our MLAs. Sounds good. Anyone else have any input there? Are you okay with that, Miss Blair? I didn't even have it written down, so this will be fun. To direct administration to provide feedback as discussed via email no later than December 12th to Paul Smith, Deputy Minister, as requested in their November 19th, 2025 letter. And to CC both our MLAs in the email. Good to go. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Thank you, 6-0. And I believe this brings us now to our closed session items. Deputy Reeve Mins is putting forth the motion that we go into closed. All those in favor? And I see no opposed, so that will be 6-0. We have quorum. Thank you very much. We are back from our in-closed session and we have one motion coming out. And that motion would be that Counselor Dowlick would like to direct administration to proceed with negotiations for the purchase of property discussed. And if there's no further discussion, all those in favor? And I don't see any opposed, so that would be 5-0. And if we go ahead, please, if I think we're ready to call it today the day. And so I will adjourn this meeting at 2:43.